For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
These are always fun.
Exactly.
And we have already started. These are always fun. This is
always fun.
Hey, everybody. This is David Mayo Loomis's partner talking right now. I am Steve Allen Miller, not Steve Allen Miller. And yes, I was named after Steve Allen. Ask me that story later on. But anyway, and welcome to the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. I'm getting so good at this.
That's it. Also known as the Place for Fun.
Place for Fun. Yeah. It only took me about 50 episodes to start to get it right. And of course, like I just said, I am David Mayo Loomis
Is partner
in crime. And he is here with me today. Mr. Voice,
the
Moose.
Dave Loomis.
Moose. There you go. Mr. Voice right there. And
welcome
everybody. Thank you for joining us as always. And before I go on, you know what? If you're listening to this, do us a favor. Share this with your friends. Tell people about us. That these
subscribe.
2 old guys, subscribe. All that stuff. Mr. Loomis has a great topic for us today, and I think, okay, this is going to be incredible because now I get to really hear what goes on between the ears of Mr. Voice's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because anyway, because
too many Dave Matthews concerts. What you hear between my ears is a ringing. I'm not exactly sure what note it is. Some people that have ringing in their ears.
Dave Matthews, who is from Seattle, Washington, by the way.
Yes.
And,
yep.
And there's a story about that. The reason why I say that, but I'm not going to get into it right now because it'll take too long. So,
let's talk about it later. Yeah.
It has to do with the hotel.
He's a great guy.
It has to do with the hotel we stayed at the other night for the election night party. So,
okay. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the 4 stages of the buyer's journey. But primarily what we're going to talk about is not just what they are, but how have they changed, or have they changed over the years, right?
Yep.
And so number one, let's start with let's lay it out. Historically, what are the 4 stages of, and we're talking about B2B.
Yeah, we're talking about B2B. Okay, B2B. Here we go.
That's what we talk about. Is B2B. What are those 4 stages there?
Y'all, from the north and south are going to have your own words for these 4 stages.
Yes.
Because I've seen it. If you Google it, you're going to see a lot of similar words, and you're going to see lots of other words, and they all mean basically the same thing. What they mean is that in some point in time, a future customer of yours has no idea you exist. And at another point in time, they're your customer. And these stages are the 4 things that come logically have to happen.
How does that happen?
That to occur.
How does that happen?
They become aware of you, first of all. So let's just call it awareness.
So let's start. Okay, stage number 1 is?
Number one is awareness.
Awareness.
I'm going to go. I'm going to tell you the stages first before we talk about each one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So stage number 1 is
I'm going to say that Stage number 2 is consideration, which is
Consideration.
some sort of assessment that they're making, or they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. Okay.
Okay. I'm taking
And
notes, by the way. I'm taking
I'm
notes
gonna-
for myself.
I am going to, this is debatable, but I'm going to say that the third stage is a proposal stage of some sort,
Proposal.
because
okay.
you're into more serious talks. It's beyond just consideration.
Okay.
And then purchase is the last stage, when you basically, you can argue to other stages that are after that, like customer engagement and all that sort of thing. But those are basically the 4 stages. And I want to make one other point before we talk about all these. And it kind of it kind of ties to how things have changed. But you all might be using a CRM system.
Mhm.
I'd be very surprised if you're not,
Mhm.
no matter what size company you are. And in that CRM system, they try to mimic those stages. And
Yes.
but they usually call them something different.
Mhm.
And what I'm going to say is that the 4 we just went through, awareness, consideration, proposal, purchase, those align with the following CRM stages. Whether it's Salesforce, HubSpot, whatever it is, you have a target that you put in there, and it's someone that usually you have to have a person and a company, their company, in your CRM system. So
Mhm.
it is a
Mhm.
person who you don't have a relationship right now, but you'd like to. If you get them on the hook in some way, they become a lead. When you do some sort of a proposal to them, or you are in that stage or phase, they become an opportunity. And when you sell them, they become a customer.
Okay.
So you're moving through these stages in the CRM system. You're moving through these stages in the buyer journey in B2B.
Mhm.
And I'll sort of lob the ball over to you, Steve, with this, which I believe that what we're seeing, the really big change over the last, decade or two, is that when potential customers come to us, actually make contact with an actual salesperson, either at the consideration or proposal phase, they're so much further along in their decision making than they ever were before.
Yep.
And they know so much more about whatever your product or service is than they ever did before, which changes the how a salesperson, the value of a salesperson, or what they need to do, or what they can or should do. So I've just sort of let you respond to that.
Yeah. And I hate to throw a statistic out without the proof of where the statistic comes from.
Gotcha. I'll find it while you're talking, because
okay.
I know exactly what you're
Well,
going to say.
I know
because
exactly
I've seen
like
different statistics.
Exactly what you're talking about, and I've seen this espoused in many, many places, that the old days of who controlled the information, that is what has changed the buyer's journey. We all get that. We all know that. We understand that whatever, 20 years ago or something like that, the company, the B2B company who is going to ultimately be supplying something, typically controlled the information. They had all the information. So when and my definition of the different people is that like if I always ask my clients, first question is who's your moose? Now in my parlance or whatever it is, parlance, moose is your target market. Okay. If you want to know more about why I call it moose, go get my book Uncopyable, and you can read about it there. Okay, but basically we're hunting moose in the forest. Okay, so we're picking the moose. All right, and if we understand who the moose is, who the moose are, the mice, moose, where they are, then okay, then we go to that forest, and all of the moose in that forest are what I would call suspects. Okay, we suspect that there are customers among those suspects. We suspect that. But what needs to happen next, and this is I'm kind of referring to it from the old perspective. Okay, and the old perspective was that there were suspects out there who fit our profile. And then they might come up, they might have an issue, they might have a need. They have a project, they have a problem, they need a solution for something. Okay. So then they need to go out, and what they need to do is they need to find potential solutions to that. And really, it might be like, it might have been as basic as just, they would just go to a trade show, and they would walk up and down the trade show aisles looking for potential suppliers. All right. So these suspects are walking up and down the aisles. Now, if they stopped in your booth and they say, hey, I have this problem, I have this issue, they are now a prospect. And, so they go from suspect to prospect. Now, when you now connect with them, if they then say, yeah, it sounds like you might have the solution to what I'm looking for, they now become a lead. So we go from suspect to prospect to lead, and then ultimately to customer. Now, what has happened over these years with technology and the internet and everything like that is that the information that we used to have as the providers, that they were searching for, okay, when they would go, like I say, they might walk, if we just use the trade show as the example, they walk around the trade show, they seek somebody who might have the answer for them. Okay, but they don't know that yet. They have to stop in there, and they have to ask questions of that exhibitor to determine whether they may have the answers.
Exactly.
Because the exhibitor had the information.
Right.
So now what has happened, and we all know this has happened, is that now, because of the internet, the buyers now, and this is the number that I keep reading, that is bandied about. I can't prove it right now, and I hate to share a statistic that I can't prove, but I'm just going to say this is something we all read, right? And that now the buyer, the potential buyer, now researches. They come up with, they have a need, they have a problem, they have something that they need something they need a solution for. Okay, and they immediately go on. They start Googling, and they start doing their own search. And they start the journey of what you said, like you said, there was awareness, consideration, proposal, purchase. Okay, they start the journey of awareness and getting to consideration, and they are walking the aisles of the trade show, but they're doing it online.
What percent of their decision do you think? What percent? How far along in the decision process do you think they are?
The number I keep seeing is 70. They are 70% of the way down the decision-making journey.
Yeah, I've seen the same statistic. I've seen 60. I've seen 70. I've seen even 80.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Let's just.
But we know it's
70,
a lot.
It's in the middle.
We know that they are much farther down the line.
We know it's a lot, and it's. Yeah.
They don't even want to talk to a salesperson until they get to that point where they now have they have now come up with their own short list of potential suppliers, and at that point they then contact you, and at that point and that point only is when they say, I'll talk to a salesperson.
Right, and it's pretty interesting because they've probably formed their own theories too about the differences and what's important to them, and which of those three that are on their short list are what their strengths and weaknesses are, just basically based on their own research. So part of our job, in a way, becomes undoing false, impressions, possibly.
Well,
You never know.
yeah, but I would say, that certainly speaks to the, all right, where are they finding their information? Well, obviously, if they're searching on Google, and they might see your website. Okay. So does your website make them want to keep you on the list? Does it even put you on the list?
It's a great question, and it's a great litmus test to look at your website and have others that are even in your target market look at your website and tell you that,
right,
and give you feedback on that.
So go ahead and finish your
right.
thought.
Well, I was just going to say that everybody knows that if you're buying a car, which is a B2C thing now, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
that's the real example of the maximum of this phenomenon now, because the number isn't 70%, it's
Yeah,
they're 95%,
95%.
yeah, and they often know more about a car and the stats and the engine or whatever it is, or safety, than the salesperson now.
Sure. Yeah. They have the information. They control the information, and I should say they control the information that they want. See, that's the important thing to remember.
Yeah,
this is from their perspective now.
Right.
It's not from our perspective. We don't own the information.
And so you can, whatever your product or service is, if it's in B2B, you may look at somebody that comes to the table now that says they have a lot of information already, and you may think, oh, that person has taken the power from me that I used to have, or that person is in a better position. I guess that's one way to look at it, but I don't think it's worth even worrying about where that power dynamic is. Don't we still have to do the same thing that we've always done, which is to understand that particular customer's needs, and then be honest with them about how to solve those needs, whether it's what we sell or what somebody else sells.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, except for the fact that that if that prospect, if we don't make the cut,
we'll never know that we were even on that.
We'll never know.
Longer list.
Now let's go back and start with the very with the four parts of the journey that you listed. Okay, let's start with awareness. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I am well known for this among my clients and my world and stuff like that. I'm well known for the fact I hate any type of efforts to just generate awareness. I hate it.
Oh, right. We've talked about this before. Right. Exactly. That doesn't sell things. There's a quote.
Well, I've never cashed a check on awareness.
That's it. Never cashed.
I've never cashed a check on awareness. Awareness, right. but of course they have to be aware of you. Of course they have to be aware of you. But the point being that it's easy for them. They go and they do research, and you're one of the names that pops up. Boom, they're aware of you.
There you go. They're aware of you.
Okay, they are now aware.
But
you
have to.
So what?
But you have to get there.
Yeah, but so what? You see, in my opinion, awareness without persuasion is malpractice.
Correct. You've got to get to considerate. You want to,
which fits into the consideration part you're talking about. Okay?
Exactly.
Is that they have to say, okay, you make the cut. You make the cut, right. And I am ready to talk to you about this. All right. So and this is where companies need to understand is that everything that happens before they talk to one of your salespeople. I mean, there are so many people out there who are doing their research, and you're not making the cut.
Exactly. So let me just give you one really practical way to
fire away.
Help in that. Okay. So somebody finds you. I'm doing work for an industrial B2B company right now, and we're creating the content for a new website. that will be built. And on the one of the things that we did to start with is we did end user segmentation based on the industry essentially that the end user is in, because it was a very logical way to segment this particular market that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And we came up with 10 segments, and there's sub-segments under there. We know the SIC and the NAICS codes and all that kind of stuff that goes along with all these 10, and we've started to build out the content. On the future website, there will be many opportunities for them to see an industry section or sections where they can self-identify themselves as being in this particular, end user segment, and then go to a special page/area of the site that's tailored just to them. And do you think that this goes right into the product and service features and benefits right away? No, it doesn't.
Hope not.
What it does is it tells them and reminds them of all the things that we know are going on in their business right now, because they're business people.
Right.
And so it's about, we know you're facing staff shortages and supply chain shortages and pressure to make profit in the service area and this and that and the other thing. And what's that have to do with, my client's products? Well, here's the connection.
Yeah.
Here's how these things can help you. Are we going to sell that person? We don't have a buy now button on there. No, they need more information. But we got other calls to action. And guess what? They're raising their hand.
We want them to raise their hand.
We'll get them into the consideration bucket.
Right.
That's just one example, very practical
and it's
way.
a great example because what we want to say to them
at
is
home.
Yeah, what we want to say to them using what you're talking about is that when they go to that page that you refer to, okay, when they go to that page, that basically that page is saying, okay, we think we know what your situation is because you're on this page. All right. We think these are the questions that you might be having right now. And
Correct.
So here are some of the answers that we would provide for you. Based on this. And then and then, might even say, the old FAQ thing, which everybody loves to do FAQs. Well, the way I love to do FAQs with clients is I make the FAQs a downloadable document. And say, would you like to know what the most frequently asked questions are that people have about this problem, this,
yes,
this objective or anything like that? All right.
Yeah.
Here, give us your email and you get it for free, and you can even say stuff like, hey, look, we're not asking for your phone number. We're just asking for your email. Right.
Exactly.
So don't be afraid that
right.
We're going to just automatically your phone's going to ring in 2 minutes after you put your phone number in. So again, it's adapting the old stages to today's world.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I say, awareness without persuasion. So they're aware of you. Okay. And they come to your site and they go to that web page, right? They are aware of you. You have no idea who these people are.
Exactly.
But if they leave,
bye. You don't know.
Yeah.
And Google Analytics can't tell you
who they are
very specifically who they are. Now,
no,
there are some, lead forensics is one of them. There's other services now that can, based on the visitor's URL, if they accepted the cookies,
the ISP,
ISP. They can tell you what company somebody was from,
and that's all they can tell you.
Or
that's
whatever.
all
but that's all. Yeah. And so
And so,
it's
and
not
and
that
what are you going to
helpful.
do with that? You're going to call them up and say, "Oh, hey,
It's not that
somebody went to
helpful.
our website. We
No.
want to find out who that person is." Nobody wants you tracking them down.
No, that's creepy. So really, what you want is you want opt-in marketing. You want them to raise their hand.
Persuasion.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
So they, if they opt in, then this is where it goes in your CRM system from a target to a lead.
You
And then you can use that system.
You automatically make the cut.
You can use that system, and you can use your website if they have opted in to cookies. To actually customize content to them when they come back. To help them move into that proposal stage, to move from a lead to an opportunity.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is that it's not so much that the names of the stages have changed, or that the objective of the different stages has changed. It's that we are now adjusting it to the fact that we have less control than the person out there who's looking does.
Right.
And so we have to adjust the way we share information online, the way we seduce them, for lack of a better word, to want to raise their hand and say, I'd like that. I would like that.
We're wooing them.
Yeah, we're
wooing them.
That's
now. There's also, you mentioned FAQs, and those are for customers that we really, or prospects that we really want. There's a list for prospects that we don't want. Have you ever heard of that one? Those are called FUQs.
Oh crap!
Have you ever seen that list?
I have never seen that list, but I'm pissed that I didn't. Didn't bring
it's
that.
Like, so you think you want to buy from us?
We want you out. No.
You don't want to buy from us.
Yeah, I don't want you.
You can't afford us.
Yeah, exactly right. So and so then we get to that point where when you say consideration. Okay, so they're saying, I'm ready to talk to you guys. Okay, you're now on the list. All right, of people I would like to talk to. So then it's sort of like, okay, at what point does a salesperson get involved?
Right. Right. One thing that I've seen is there's a call to action which you can use that says start a quote. And that's a very interesting one, and it can be really, really effective, because every one of those words is really important. It has the word start in it, which is just, okay, well, it's a process, right? So you're saying, okay, you want to start. You're saying start a quote. A quote is innocuous. A quote doesn't say buy now. It doesn't say do that. You're not signing up for anything. You just say quote. But it's further along than just put me on a list for more info. It's something tangible, and it does give permission for a salesperson to reach out.
And I do not disagree with what you just said. Not a bit. Okay. What I disagree with is when I go to websites and, because we're both B2B consultants. Okay. So I go to a lot of B2B websites, every day to study them and see what they do and stuff like that. And to me, one of the biggest mistakes that B2B websites make is the percentage of B2B websites who get a quote, as their call to action. Well, to me, if that's the only call to action you have on your website, I think you're making a big mistake.
Oh, now, exactly. I would never say to have that as your only call to action. It's one of many.
Right.
And one thing that I do when I design websites now is I use something called a circular site map. And what the meaning of that is that basically, we've got all this scrolling that goes on now.
That's right.
And it's very easy for somebody to get to the bottom of one of those scrolling long pages. And it's all of a sudden you see the footer. Where am I next? Do I want to go back to the hamburger menu and start over or whatever? Or you just abandon it and you get, real short time on the site. Well, if you have links, they really are calls to action or CTAs at the bottom or throughout a page.
Right.
Learn more. Hear our story. And it's a link to the video. Be very specific in your different calls to actions. And they're just linking you to a different part on the page.
Right.
They're linking you to a case study or a video or something else to engage you, to get you a little further along, a little more interested.
Right.
And these can be very, very effective.
I'm going to give a shout out to my friend John Jantz, who he is the only outside person that we have interviewed. That's true. Now we've had my smoking hot wife, right? And we've had your partner, Michelle Miller. Michelle Jones. Yep. Yeah. Michelle Jones, who is just rocking it right now, with Creative 8. Creative 8. Exactly. And Kay is rocking it with her book, on copyable sales and stuff like that. But John is the only outside person we've had so far on our, it doesn't mean we're not going to have him. We probably will be having more. But anyway, if you go to the ducttapemarketing.com website, I'm sure Mr. Voice understands what I'm going to say, but I want to explain something to you. There's a thing called above the fold. Now, yes, when you go to the duct tape marketing website, so above the fold basically means what you see when you first land on that website. Any website. It used to come from newspapers. It was from newspapers, right? Be folded. Because newspapers would be folded in half and stuff like that, and so it's above the fold. So you land on that above the fold. Now, the average typical B2B company, somewhere on that above the fold, and it's usually right up in the top right corner, in a yellow button or something like that, it will say, request a quote. Okay. It's like, I just got here. And your request, you want me to request a quote? Okay. Now, John, on his website, God, I just hate this guy. And I can't wait to send this to him. He has on his website, above the fold, he has 6 different call to actions opportunities for the people who come. He does have, he doesn't say request a quote. He has a button, but he has 2 buttons in different colors on that above the fold page. Are you looking it up? Yep. You're looking it up right now. I can tell you're looking it up. It says, let's talk. Let's talk. All right. He's got it in 2 different places, right? Let's talk. All right. And then in the lower left corner, he has kind of not a rotator. It's not called a rotator. What's it called? Anyway, I can't remember. But it rotates between 2 carousel. Thank you, carousel. In those carousels, one says what? What is it? What are you seeing? Oh, I am not. You left. Okay. Exactly what you're. Well, anyway, what you're talking about. Yeah. One is an offer for some type of like white paper or content or something like that. Yeah, that one popped up on my screen. Okay. Yeah. And I'm getting there. All right. Oh, because you left. You started to leave, right? And it popped up. Well, it popped up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So he has that you can get this thing from him. And then he has another thing saying, and we also have a podcast that you can go to, click here. Okay. So that's four things right there. All right. Bottom right corner, he has a let's chat, but it's not a chat. It's a submit your question to them and they will respond. All right. That's number
Gotcha.
5. And the 6th one is if you move your cursor up, like you've seen this before, and to where you're going to look, it looks like you're going to leave the page. There's a pop-up that comes up and it offers you 7 tips on something.
It's brilliant.
So here is John Jantz, the author of Duct Tape Marketing. And when you go to their website, above the fold, there are 6 different opportunities for people to raise their hand.
Yeah. And what's surprising is marketers are usually not the best marketers of themselves.
I know. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. But I just give John.
So that's impressive.
Full props.
That's
Full props
impressive.
for that.
That's impressive.
So you see, but you want in order for you, if we look at it from the awareness, consideration, proposal, purchase perspective, okay, you are not going to have an opportunity to give a proposal if you have not made the cut.
Yes. Got to make the cut.
And I think that's the biggest message of all right here. All right. We're not teaching you how to make a sale. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you guys don't know how to sell, you need to go, connect with my wife, or somebody who's going to teach you how to close a deal. All right. What we're talking about is we want you to get people to raise their hands and say they want to talk to you.
Exactly. And then you take it from there. In some cases, like the old days, there is technology involved. These people that you have as leads or whatever you might want to call them, often do come back and continue their research and do different things. And that's great. We should know about that. And we should give people options. If they want to skip a step and go to a quote, they have that option. But if they want to take their time and, talk to somebody, or they want to, watch video, or they want to download something, that can be very effective too. Especially if it's, that's another way. If you have a longer form piece of content or something that is interesting and free, but you can gate it behind not a paywall. You don't have to pay for it.
No, it's just a
trade your email.
Gated, they've got to give you their email. That's all.
Trade the email. And there's a whole bunch of statistics. Obviously, the probability that somebody's going to put their email in, like if you were have a download button without the gate, a certain percentage of people are going to do that, and then X minus a whole bunch are going to put in the email.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
What you're doing is you're trading how good that lead is.
That's right.
Because it may be a competitor, or just somebody who doesn't care, just downloading your stuff. But when you put your email in and download the stuff, you know what? You're really saying, this is suited for me, and I actually don't mind you because I might be interested.
Right.
And so that's a much better lead. Better lead.
And they are giving you permission to stay in contact.
Exactly. Quality over
really,
quantity.
It's really all we're looking for. Right.
It's all we're looking for
is stay in, especially in the B2B world. Where for many, if not most of us, the dollars are big. The dollars are very, very big. So we just want to know that we're still in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the one thing to overlay over all this that some of the lots of agencies and even big companies are tout personas, and they want you to define your different buyer personas and then map that buyer journey specifically for each persona. If it's a director of warehouse, he or she is going to go through these steps. And if it's a so-and-so, they're going to go, I'm not going to say, how valuable or not valuable that is. Sometimes these things can be taken a little bit too far, to be honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times you are taking yourself way too seriously when you fall into that trap of doing that stuff. So, and by the way, that does remind me, which I'm going to leave as a teaser, and actually I'm going to say this is what we're going to talk about next time.
Okay.
I have found a tool, boy, and Dave is going to have to agree to this, because I'm not going to just throw a tool out there at you guys, that you would have to pay for. Okay. I'm not going to do it. However, this one tool that has come to my attention, and I had a conversation with the company today, is pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Well, that is a teaser. What are we talking about next week?
This tool, if you give me permission. If you don't, we'll be talking about my other thing, which is how to be the club that everybody wants to be a member of.
Here's a question about that.
Yes, sir.
Do you have to buy to join the club?
Not always. We can talk about that.
Because so my question, I was just curious because I was thinking about the buyer journey, and is there something that someone could still join without actually pulling the trigger completely, feel that kind of camaraderie or group,
and we can talk about both sides, and then because I have a lot of experience on the side of where they pay to be in the club.
Yeah, they're buyers
from B2B. Okay?
I love it.
So if we're not talking about if we do talk about this tool, then we'll move the club conversation to the following.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, you're going to tell me about this, and then I'm going to give
all right,
green
bro.
light or not.
Take us out of here, Mr. Voice.
You all have been listening to the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast with none other than Steve Miller, not the rock star.
Mr. Voice.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
exactly. And the Dave Loomis. No, was that Froggy from?
Oh no, but I can do Fozzie Bear. Hey, waka waka.
He can. Look up Sesame Street videos, folks.
If you remember that.
Steve will be there. All right. We'll see y'all. And thanks for joining. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.